Our County, Chapter 1, A Long Way from Kansas. This isn't how things were supposed to go. It was supposed to be a normal trip down memory lane, a visit through the woods past the old orphanage's backyard, a run-of-the-mill search for adventure, like when she was a child. A self-appointed, but well-deserved break from the mundane struggles of living alone in South California for one PALOMA GARCIA on this May 22nd, 2212. But something went wrong. Something big. It's all so fuzzy, but the memory is there. It was a pod, somehow submerged halfway into the dirt, well into the woods. She just wanted to get a closer look at it, see what it even was. Anyone would, right? She had no clue that it would rise from the earth and bring her here. Wherever here was, anyway. Now she awakens in a fairly boring bedroom. Well, boring given the circumstances. It's quiet, save for the light humming of someone nearby. As she slowly rises, she takes note of the pain in her head and her chest. She feels emptier inside, in a way that feels arguably more literal than one would assume, if only that were possible. One thing is certain, though. Her heart should be pounding out of her chest with the sudden jolt of consciousness, but it isn't, and to PALOMA, that scares her more. It takes her a moment to fully come to. Regrettably, only so many positives can come from passing out, and a lack of spatial awareness isn't usually one of them. Slowly, she sits up from the bed, and its creaks and moans blare in her ears as they readjust to her surroundings. She slumps her arms upward, rubbing her eyes. The humming is still sounding in the background, but the possible location of it is much clearer. Lord only knows what all this is or what it's about, so she grits her teeth and presses on. With a little swivel, her legs fall out of the bed. The room is quite furnished, but it's certainly not anywhere she recognizes. The bed sits in a corner, with a cabinet by the front door and a nightstand to her right. Each cabinet, desk, shelf, and otherwise surface in the room is littered with diplomas, badges, and a few medals here and there. That and the occasional collectible figurine. A bit of a tryhard's room, isn't it? Certainly this isn't right. She would have sworn she had seen the stars, the skylines of the trees below. The anxiety from that pod's sudden trip had been ingrained in her mind even after she had fallen unconscious from the pressure. But this? It's just a bedroom. What happened in between the trip and now? Whoever put her here had taken her glasses off, and her arms stumble a little as she reaches for them on the nightstand. Her legs shake like jelly as she inches ever forward. Whatever happened to her, it clearly hit her like a pile of bricks. Soon she arrives from the bedroom door, the door frame leading to a small hallway. To her right, 2 more rooms and a dead end. To her left, a light, coming from a kitchen. Someone's in there too, better yet, or worse yet, depending on who they are. A figure stands relatively tall and slender. It's obvious now that they are the source of the humming, so that's one problem solved, at least. For a moment, the lingering worry in PALOMA's gut simmers. She looks around first, taking in the calm before getting a better look at the person in front of them. The kitchen looks unremarkable, like any normal kitchen, lined up with tiled floors and wooden cupboards. A sink, a dishwasher, an oven, the whole shebang. Very standard, if not for some slightly outdated technology. Definitely vintage in nature, that's for sure. To the left of that kitchen is a living area. Nothing more than a small coffee table and a long couch. Still, at least the place looks normal, right? This isn't some psycho's basement or anything. That's a step in the right direction. But everything she had seen is still built on a very faulty foundation, ignorable for a time, but only a matter of time before it breaks. Because for as much as Paloma wants to take this at face value, as some random person's kind, inviting home, this is certainly not her little apartment. Nor does this belong to anyone she knows. She observes the figure in the kitchen closely as she approaches from behind. Their hair is shoulder-length and brunette, save for a streak of bright yellow in the front. Some hair is left to part down to the side of her face, obscuring their eyes from a side angle. A long, tattered black overcoat wraps around them as they stand before an open fridge. As much as it sounds easier in theory, she knows she can't just stand there forever. With little courage, yet no racing heart, the ball begins to roll.
Hello?
The figure jerks back in response, uttering the most awkward sound of disturbance Paloma had ever heard. And somehow, it helps.
Oh, gods! Don't scare me like that, kid. I didn't even know you were awake.
They turn quickly, their overcoat rising ever so slightly as they do. Newly visible now is the woman's face. Covered by yellow-tinted glasses are two blackened eyes with yellow irises. They almost seem to glow faintly, matching the color of the streak in her hair very well. It distracts Paloma, if only for a moment.
Sorry.
It's fine. It just gave me a scare. How are you holding up, bud? You need anything? Food? Water?
No, thank you. But, do I know you?
Oh, right. Sorry.
She laughs, waving her hand in front of her.
It's Haven Fanning. And I'm so glad you survived the trip.
As she finishes her sentence, she turns back around, re-inspecting the refrigerator behind her.
What's your name?
At least she has a name, but that still isn't much. The trip? Nevertheless, she answers.
It's Paloma.
Nice namesake. I've heard that Paloma means dove in Spanish. Did you know that? Well, that or pigeon, so I've heard. Can I call you Red, maybe?
Why would you want to do that?
Your irises, they're red. A bright shade, too. You've got some convincing context, kid.
Paloma stares down, confused. There's no mirrors here, and even if there were, she wasn't about to change the subject any further.
Can you just tell me where I am, please? I got into an accident, I think.
The tall woman winces slowly with a nervous grin, stiffening up as she shifts out of her more casual posture.
Yeah, you're right. It's just, well, I don't think it's anything close to what you're expecting.
I'd like something. What's going on? What happened to me?
Yeah, fair. I'll try, but I make no promises. So, you're in Inkwell County, and that pod you somehow ended up in took you here. How to manage that, I have no idea. That thing's ancient.
Paloma ponders for a moment. It definitely isn't a county anywhere near her. She'd probably know.
The Inkwell County? Am I supposed to know where that is?
On the moon, I mean.
Haven's eyes dart to the floor for a moment.
They teach you guys this stuff, right?
What? I mean, it is a bit funny. Thanks, I guess. But what does that mean?
It means moon. On the interstellar Inkwell, a home of Inkwell County, which, might I add, is the finest source of off-world coffee on this side of the solar system. But that's just me at the moment. It will catch on.
She shrugs, with a crooked grin spread haphazardly across her face. Paloma's smile fades. Suddenly, this joke isn't so funny. She narrows her eyes and shakes her head. No, not possible. It genuinely cannot be. That's completely unreasonable. She approaches the living room, peering out of the window. The city beyond is bustling, with nothing remarkable beyond stars. Just beyond a small city landscape is an endless sky, seemingly surrounded by a weird, shiny covering, almost like glass. Her eyes shoot open as she stares out into the vast emptiness just beyond. She swallows. That is glass, and by proxy, apparently she is in space. Why else would that be there?
That's not... But Inkwell County? When did this even get here?
Her voice is shaky as she turns back around.
Really? Nothing about this place in school? Or the internet? Word of mouth? Nothing?
No, of course not. I think I'd remember that.
Haven's smile falters. She sets the soda in her hand on the counter, planting her hands down on its edge. Whatever it is that she's processing, it's taking a lot out of her. She almost seems tired. She winces slowly, exhaling from her nose as she shakes her head in disbelief? Sorrow? It isn't quite clear. Paloma curiously raises an eyebrow.
Was I supposed to?
It's nothing you've got to worry about, Red.
She pauses, laying a hand on her temple. A weak smile spreads across her otherwise pained expression. As she continues, her voice is firm, yet gentle.
Look, it's a miracle that pod survived, but it won't make another launch to Earth. Not in its condition now, anyway. You might be here for a few weeks, until we can repair that pod and get you back home.
Paloma's body jerks back to the stranger in the kitchen. She nearly trips on herself as she does.
Are you serious?
Haven sighs, firmly planting her arms on her hips. She wraps around the island in the kitchen, closing the distance between the two as she speaks.
I know, Red. I hate it too. But supplies are low, and we need time to even try and fix that old thing. You'll get home, I'm sure. It'll just take a bit.
The girl pauses, turning back around once more and staring out into the dome behind her. She's taking this too calmly. That has to mean it's not real. This is some weirdly elaborate dream or prank or something, and any minute now she'll wake up, or the hidden cameras will be revealed. It'll be like nothing happened at all. Just a slightly cruel, albeit harmless joke. But time passes. Close to a minute at least, though it certainly feels longer. And as the clock continues to tick, Paloma does not wake up, and no cameras are revealed. Who does she even have in her life that would pull a stunt like this? It doesn't matter. She's already awake, and this is her stand-in home for the time being. It seems as though she has no choice. Her stomach churns at the thought alone.
Come on, Red. I'm sure it will go by fast. But it's late, and that pod only knocked you out for a few hours. Let's just get you situated, yeah?
This is just... Shit, this is a lot.
I know.
Just put this, whatever this is, on hold. I need time to process, I guess.
I'll count on it. For now, at least, you can keep using my room. Just follow me.
Her voice is considerably more gentle. What was once somebody trying to drum up a cheap laugh was now a show of genuine sympathy. Maybe if anyone were to understand Paloma's struggle, it'd be her. The night is short. It was already past sunset by the time she had awoken, or at least it should have if she were back home. Now the circumstances are more dire than ever before. The girl lays in a stranger's bed, in a foreign world, on a foreign landmass, stuck in place until fate decides she can go. What is she to do now? Make small talk with the locals and act like nothing is wrong? Is that her only option? Because fun isn't exactly on her itinerary right now. Not that it ever was before. This isn't how things were supposed to go. But this is how things went, and this is the end result. A real bookender, if it weren't for the fact that she'd have to wake up to this again tomorrow. Maybe she'll have better luck then. But who's to say? A girl can dream.